Now, Victorian Premier Daniel Andrews is being slammed over his big tax budget. It punishes big business, property investors and public sector workers. Steve, the Premier, Daniel Andrews, has argued that this is all necessary because of the COVID pandemic. But we are seeing massive levels of debt here.
You and I have covered a lot of budgets, both state and federal, Sharri. I have never seen a reaction to a budget like I've seen in the last 24 hours. And there is white-hot anger in Victoria, which is surprising given that it was only November last year that Andrews was voted back in for a third term. Now, he has hit property owners with land tax bills. This is going to apply now to every second property anyone owns that is valued over $50,000, Sharri. You can't buy a dog box for $50,000. That limit used to be $300,000. Now, why would you do that in the middle of a rental crisis? What does he think, Daniel Andrews, property owners are going to do? There will be thousands and thousands of Victorians who, and many of them not wealthy, who will sell small investment properties that they had lined up for their retirement because they don't want to pay this extra tax. And I'll tell you one other thing.
Yeah.
It's a budget of envy. They've targeted private schools. Now, whatever you might think about private fee-paying schools, they used to not pay payroll tax. They are now going to be hit with a 5% payroll tax. That 5% will go straight on to the school fees. And parents who are already battling to pay private school fees, what do you think they're going to do? They're going to rip their children out of the private school, stick them back into the state system, which is already crumbling because it doesn't have enough resources.
Yeah, it puts even more pressure on it. And Steve, it's not just property owners who've been hurt in this budget, but big businesses as well. $4 billion worth of payroll tax increases. There's also a 42% rise in work cover premiums. And we're hearing today that this could result in an exodus of investment from Victoria. Well, I wouldn't be surprised if that happened.
No, I got a sense of deja vu. I'm old enough to remember 1990 when Victoria was the rust bucket state. Joan Kerner was the Premier and people were fleeing up the Hume Highway in huge numbers. Anyone who's got a payroll over $10 million annually is going to be hit with a 0.5% payroll tax increase. Now, if you're running a big business like a Coles or a Woolworths or Qantas or Jetstar, do you really think you're going to have your head office based in Melbourne? Of course you're not, because the taxes you pay as a big business in Victoria are much higher than anywhere else in the country. And the debt in this state is due to hit somewhere around $170 billion within the next 3 years. It is out of control spending and it is a complete disaster.
Yeah.